I hope you like this video. I've worked on it quite a while. It's about an aircraft little known in World War II, the A-36. Enjoy. When you think of a World War II dive-bomber, what do you think of? I think of the German Stuka. But there were other dive-bombers other than the German Stuka in World War II. The U.S. Navy had the Douglas Dauntless and the Curtiss Helldiver. These naval dive-bombers were responsible for wreaking havoc on the naval forces of the Empire of Japan. These are two of the most famous U.S. dive-bombers of World War II. But there is another, not very well known, but quite effective, the A-36 of the U.S. Army Air Corps. While the U.S. Navy was quite effective using dive bombers in the Pacific theater, the U.S. Army did not believe that dive bombing was effective. They believed in bombing with multiple bombs. The Army Air Corps actually became involved in dive bombing with the advent of the P-51 Mustang when North American aviation was developing the P-51 for the British. The Americans held back some of the British order because the American pilots had raved about their performance. Major General Oliver P. Eckel was responsible for the Americans adopting the P-51 Mustang fighter aircraft. Lieutenant General Hap Arnold was a supporter of the idea of the Army Air Force dive bombing. Arnold's enthusiasm for dive bombing was realized by North American aviation's president, Dutch Kindleberger. Kindleberger recommended some changes in the armament, strengthening the wing and airframe, and the addition of dive brakes to the P-51A model. The A-36 went into production and flight tests were completed in 1942 at Elgin Army Airfield in Florida. The plane had a dive speed of 500 miles per hour, but with the dive brakes slowing it to 350 miles per hour. Unfortunately, during a dive, the wings broke off one of the test planes at the speed of 450 miles per hour in a dive. Tests were, needless to say, disastrous. The Army restricted the plane to a 70-degree dive angle and said the plane could only be used as a low-altitude attack plane. The dive brakes seemed dangerous, and this idea planted the claim that the brakes were wired closed during combat. But there's nothing to substantiate this. Nevertheless, with General Hap Arnold's insistence, the Army forged ahead with the dive bomber program, with a total of 500 dive bombers being delivered. The aircraft was usually referred to as a Mustang. The length was 32 feet 3 inches, with a wingspan of 37 feet. Height of 12 feet 2 inches. The power plant was an Allison V1710 87 liquid-cooled piston V12 engine, developing 1,325 horsepower. Armament: 6 50 caliber machine guns and up to 1,000 pounds of bombs and 2 underwing hardpoints. The hardpoints were originally designed for auxiliary fuel tanks, but were moved inward to support the heavy bombs. These are the dive brakes. When extended during a dive, they decreased the speed to 350 miles per hour. The A-36s were used primarily in the Mediterranean theater and attached to the 86th and 27th fighter bomber groups, and were quite successful on their missions against Sicily and Italy. The Achilles heel of the airplane, as with the Mustang, was the oil and coolant radiators mounted on the underside of the fuselage. One hit on these vital components, and the plane was out of action.
As the group neared the target, the leader waggled his wings. This was a signal to get in trail, single file behind the lead plane. As we got closer to the target, the leader opened his dive brakes and rolled upside down. We flew upside down directly over the target. We then pulled out and went straight down until we had a good sight of the target. I've seen some reports that say we released dive bombs at 3,000 feet. That's getting a little low. I say we dropped dive bombs around 5,000 or so. As we pulled out, we shut the dive brakes. It was like getting a kick in the butt. Our speed jumped from 350 miles per hour to 450 miles an hour, and we got the hell out of there. If there wasn't any flak, we climbed and regrouped for what we were supposed to do next. If there was flak, we just got out of there as fast as we could.
A big advantage the A-36s had over the enemy anti-aircraft guns was the guns could not point directly straight up when the planes were diving straight down. A-36 pilots did not engage the enemy in dogfights unless it was absolutely necessary. After all, they were on bombing missions. But there was one pilot, Lieutenant Michael T. Russo of the 27th Fighter Bomber Group, became an A-36 ace. The A-36s claimed 84 kills, 5 of which were Lieutenant Russo's. Incidentally, Russo was the only ace to fly an Allison-powered aircraft. By the end of the war, the A-36s had been replaced with P-40s and P-47s. However, the A-36 did leave its mark in the Mediterranean campaigns of the European theater. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to subscribe, click here. For more videos like this one, click here. If you want to see what's next, click here. How about a thumbs up if you like this video?